So we're going to make a modular jig system that will fit the base plate of the xTool F1 Ultra and the F2 Ultra UV. Now there's a lot of things you can purchase that are 3D printed that would do these very same things. But if it turns out not being exactly what you wanted, then you've got a $20, $30 piece of plastic sitting around the shop that you didn't need, but you thought you needed. So this way, what we're going to do, you'll be able to adjust and put your own spin on it. And if you ultimately create something that works well for you, then you can build a file to send to someone that has a 3D printer, or order it from someone and have it made and have a more permanent solution. But since I got a laser, I try to make what I need and use it for as long as I can. All right, so we're going to make the modular plate to set on the base of each of these lasers. And then we're going to have the interchangeable pieces. We'll make at least two. We'll make one that fits a 4-inch coaster, and then we'll make one that'll hold up spheres. And then maybe that'll spark your creativity, and whatever else you got laying around the shop that you want to laser, maybe some bamboo pins or something like that, then you can make another modular piece, slide it straight into the base plate, and you'll be centered and ready to go. All right, let's do it. As it turns out, the base plates have the same screw pattern. The actual size of the plate differs, but the screw pattern is the same for both of these lasers. So we're going to get a square, hold shift, draw it out, and we're going to make that 228 millimeters. That is the magic number that will work for both. And we're going to round the corners over here on Shape Properties. And if you don't have this tab, just go up to Window, down to Shape Properties, and be sure there's a check there. We're going to round these off to 8 millimeters. We're going to select it, Control D for a duplicate, then go up and make sure your lock is on. And then in the percentages, put 84. And that's going to be 84% of the original size. And that's going to be our inside cutout. We won't be able to use this for the modular pieces because of kerf. So we'll have to cut another piece and adjust for kerf so we can get a snug fit. Now we need a tool line to go around so we can put some slits to put the screws. I don't want to do the individual screw holes. That's a little monotonous, so we'll make a slide so they'll fit. And that piece, we'll get another duplicate, and then we'll make that 209.55 millimeters. And that is here. And just hold Alt and line it up, and then go down to the bottom and select T1 or T2 and make that a tool. Now for our screw holes, we'll grab another square, just draw out a rectangle, leave it large enough that you can round off the corners. The radius has to be wide enough for that to work, and just round them off to 3 or 4. Take the lock off up top. We want to make this slot 3 millimeters in width, and that allows for the screws that came with your blocking brace or maybe your subsurface pedestal. Those will lock into place once you screw them through these slots, and then you won't have to worry about losing them. And we're going to make this 40 millimeters in length. And then we're just going to line them up here somewhere. That looks pretty good. Get a duplicate. It didn't work. Get a duplicate and move it down. Get another one. And this spacing works pretty good. Might need to go a little closer to the corner. But after you play around with these, you will get a feel. You can see that first duplicate I made that is in there that does not need to be there. You got to watch out for that. Now you want to select all of these without selecting anything else. Shift and select, and then you can group these together. And then you want to duplicate them. You can move one over to the other side. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll line up. And it almost did. There you go. Just use that Alt key and it'll help line it up. And then we'll duplicate another one. We'll flip it with the period key. Bring it up, center it, and get it lined up. Duplicate again, and then just bring it down. And then hold that Alt key, and there we go. So there are our slits. All right, so now to get our modular piece, we're going to grab one of these, duplicate, pull it out, because like I said, this piece will be pretty much wasted. You can use it for other things, but for this project, we won't need it. So we're going to group all that together. Then let me move this one and get the other one back on the workspace. Looks better that way. Because we're going to make two of these. And the first thing, now your curve, you'll have to determine what curve works for you. But I'm just going to add, I'm going to put the lock on. I'm going to add 2 millimeters. All right, so we're going to need 2 of these. Control D. Now the first one we're going to make for a 4-inch coaster. And I know coasters can get boring, but people sell a lot of them. So if you're selling them, or if you're just making some gifts, this will work out good for you. So we're going to grab a circle, hold shift, draw it out, and 4 inches is 101.6 millimeters. Just leave your lock on, get that. You can hold Alt, make sure it's centered. Something's throwing it off. So I'm going to shift, select, and hit bullseye. When you've got other stuff in the workspace, it can throw off the centering when you're using Alt. So just remember that. And we're going to put us a little finger hold down here. So we're going to grab another circle. Yeah, that'll work better. So let's go back up to arrange and break apart. Get rid of half. Group these other 2 pieces back together. Line it up and put it right there. All right, so we don't want to forget, I mean, it's clear that's a coaster, but just to put some markings on it, we'll put F1 Ultra, F2 Ultra UV. And we'll make this small. Maybe make it 10. Put it on a engrave line. Move it to the top. Don't forget, when you engrave, you need to move it up top. Otherwise, it'll cut first and then engrave. And you don't want that. All right, so then we'll put over here coaster jig. Coaster jig, 4 inches, 101.6 millimeters. That way we don't forget what we made it for. So that one is done. And we can group all this together so it don't get lost. So now let's make one for a sphere, because you know, Christmas time, you want to do Christmas balls. So we will get another circle, hold shift, draw it out, make it a cut line, and we will center it. I think we'll make this, it's already 64, but we're going to make it 65. So this hole will be cut in the main one, and then we want to cut some stacking pieces in case your ball, you know, goes through the hole. You don't want it to touch bottom. So we're going to get a copy of this, duplicate, and then we're going to increase that to 135%. There, that's what we're going for. Then we will center this piece. And that ring, we can measure it right here. It gives you about almost 12 millimeters. So that's pretty good. So we're going to group this right here. And then we're just going to duplicate a couple. And we'll cut them out as we go. And then we can stack them on top of each other. I think we're good. Group that in there. Make sure these are grouped. Yep. So we're going to jump in the xTool D1 Pro 40 watt, and we're going to cut this out of some Luan plywood. Okay, I could only get 2 pieces to fit, so we'll cut those. I'll get another piece of wood and we'll finish it off. But this is the Luan plywood. It's 1/4 inch, 5.2 millimeters, and you can pick it up at your local building supply, and I'll put a link in the description where I got it from. All right, let's cut it. Okay, we'll set this up on the base plate and see how it works. All right, folks, well, here is our completed modular system, and it's dead center. This will be easy to adjust and put your own spin on. So the base plates have the same screw pattern between the F2 Ultra UV and the F1 Ultra. So you've got 7 rows, 7 columns. Best I remember math, that's 49 holes. They use the same screw size, which are the ones that come with the blocking brace. Also come with your subsurface engraving pedestal. These lock into place, like I said, kind of like they do on here. Once they get past that screw hole, they just kind of dangle there so you won't lose them. So let's check that other one out. Here is the one for the spheres. And that hole's kind of big, but when you got big balls, it ain't a problem. So you can do a lot of things with this. And like I said, if you really want something that's 3D printed, you can design it yourself in LightBurn, try it out with some scrap, and then see if it's what you want. And then you can build an STL file and send it over to someone to make for you. So the final kerf I ended up with was about 1 millimeter. So I had to make some adjustments. And if you're not familiar with kerf, I know a lot of you are, so bear with me. When we cut this center piece out, the width of the beam is cut out above and beyond what we specified, half of the beam. So if the beam is 1 millimeter, then it cut out a 0.5 millimeter on this outside edge. So when we cut this piece, we had to add that 0.5 millimeter back, plus another 0.5 millimeter for what was lost off of this cut. So 1 millimeter. So your kerf be different. You just have to test it. I could have made it a little tighter, but it's not, there's no wiggle to it. So that works pretty good. So with this being made out of wood, it certainly has the potential to warp, especially if it's sitting around the shop and you got a little humidity problem like I do. So if it does, you can just make you some little tie downs out of scrap. And then with this type of thumb screw, you just loosen it up a little and slide that underneath and catch the edge. You can do it all around, and that will solve the problem. This is really versatile, and I'm sure there's a lot of creativity out there. So if you folks come up with other uses for this, please let me know. And the cover does close on both the F1 Ultra and the F2 Ultra UV. I recently posted a video where I made a fence system with all of these, and I'll put a link to the video down in the description, and you can check that out if you like. If you really want to buy something, by all means do, but I like making my own stuff when I can, and if it wears out over time, I've got my file and I will just cut me another one. If you got questions, let me know. Glad to answer them. At least I'll give it a try. And I appreciate you folks watching. I know there's a lot of stuff out there you could be watching, so I thank you for watching this. Just tell your friends, share. It'll help the channel out. Check back for new videos. Take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.